Hello! Many of my viewers are having issues with p-paragraphs and embedded quotations. So I'm going to clarify that today. Farouk Syed says, he's quoting me in this video here, do not write in p-paragraphs but sentences which include embedded quotations. Should this be done for all the questions in the language paper in the reading section? And my answer is yes, absolutely. Always do that. And then Shaw Court, who's been watching this conversation, says, don't you always have to analyze embedded quotations? Because my teacher keeps telling me, don't rely on embedded quotations, rather pick a single quote and analyze it in detail. Well, I'm going to show you why Shaw Court's teacher is giving him, I assume it's a him, sorry, could be a her, the wrong advice. And that's not to have a go at this teacher, because this is the advice that AQA used to give before the current exam. Write a lot about a little. And a lot of us went off and taught our students how to write in detail about their quotations. And that actually is a very useful English skill. But unfortunately, this exam does not reward that. And the reason your teacher might not be teaching you this is because they haven't sat the exam. But as you should know by now, I do sit the exam, and some of the teachers in my school are also sitting the exam, so we can find out what the problems are. So I will be showing you the problems from the specimen material released by AQA. You can find this on the AQA website. You don't need your teacher to do it for you. We're looking at paper 1, explorations in creative reading and writing, and it's the mark scheme, and that's the syllabus version 8700. So question 2 always asks you to look at the language. So that's where you have to quote. There's the big clue. Words and phrases, language features, techniques, blah, blah, blah. So how on earth do you get the marks for this without using p-paragraphs and without analyzing quotations in lots of detail? Well, to answer that, I'm going to scroll down a little bit. And so here you have the top level, 8 marks out of 8. And then you have a sample answer from the examiner, but with the warning that this is an indicative standard, not a model answer or a complete response. Okay, so this isn't a full answer, it's just showing you the quality. I've copied that into Word and we're going to look at an answer therefore that gives you 100%, but you might need a longer one in the exam. Okay, but let's just read this answer. In green, I've followed the P structure where P is the point. So the green is the point, okay? The opening paragraph consists of a single complex sentence. Perhaps the writer does this to reflect the onward movement of the coach. I've got my point, I've got my explanation, the evidence is included in this. I can't quote it because it's a full sentence. So the examiner hasn't quoted the full sentence. The writer wants to show that the man has only a little control over the power of nature. Conveyed by the adjective exposed and the noun force. This shows how powerful nature is. Notice the examiner wants you to name the parts of speech, adjective, noun, in order to get the marks. Then we have a second explanation, a second analysis. These words also evoke the idea of vulnerability and danger. Then we have a new point. In addition, the writer uses a list of verbs, again, naming the techniques, rocking, shaking, trembled, and swayed. Then we have the explanation. This list has the cumulative effect of adding to the sense of danger. Then we go to our new point. This leads to how that should say the writer. Just correct that. The writer also shows how the coach is in danger using the simile. So there's the point. Again, naming the techniques all the time. Simile. Describing how it is rocking between the high wheels like a drunken man. There's your evidence. Now we have the explanation. This suggests the coach is lurching haphazardly, its movements out of control. We'll just change that to 134 words now. Okay, so if the rest of your answer was of that quality, you would get 8 out of 8. And that's written as p-paragraphs. Well, what's the problem of p-paragraphs? And why should we use embedded quotations? Well, let me show you now. That is 134 words, which I had to recreate from the examiner's answer. Let's dip to the next screen where I will show you that answer. Okay, we're going to read this answer in a minute, but first you need to see that it's 80 words long. This would score exactly the same marks. All I did to make that P paragraph was to put the points in. The points aren't here in the examiner's response because they are writing like an expert, and the point is always included in the explanation. The yellows will be the explanation. When we read them, you'll see how the point is already included in the explanation. And that means you don't have to write all this clunky stuff. The second thing you'll notice is that all my explanations start with these or this. You know, I'm really signaling to the examiner, okay, look, I'm writing an explanation now. But that doesn't happen in the examiner's answer. The explanation isn't at the start of a new sentence. It's in the same sentence. So what I'm going to teach you is a much more economical way of writing, where you can make just as many points in almost half the words. Yep, 134 words compared to 80. This answer from the examiner uses exactly the same quotations, exactly the same explanations and analysis, but far fewer words. And that's why you have to get rid of P. Right, let's read it. The opening paragraph consists of a single complex sentence, perhaps reflected the onward movement of the coach. The adjective exposed and the noun force evoke the idea of vulnerability, danger, and how little control man has over the power of nature. Now, if we just pause it there, you can see that there are lots of explanations. The vulnerability, the danger, how little control man has. 3 different explanations, all in the same sentence. Whereas writing in P, I had to split those explanations up. So that just gets in the way. Let's look at the next bit. The verb rocking progresses the cumulative effect of the list of verbs shaking, trembled, swayed, leading to the simile rocking between the high wheels like a drunken man. Now this is why I'm suggesting you need lots of embedded quotations. Here you've got those quotations, the verbs embedded, so that lot, but you've also got this new quotation about the simile all in the same sentence. Why? Because this is exam conditions and you only have 8 minutes to answer this question. 8 minutes is nothing. So the examiner gets around that by getting rid of P paragraphs, linking embedded quotations together in the sentence. So I hope you can see how that works. So we'll read the last line. Suggesting the coach is lurching haphazardly, its movement out of control. Again, 2 different explanations from the same bit of evidence. So go back over these texts, go back over the video. I'll put this text in the description to my video below so you can play with it and see how this works. But genuinely, that is exactly the same information presented as P paragraphs. Well, you try this for yourself. You've only got 8 minutes to answer that question. There's no way you're going to answer more than 134 words in 8 minutes. It's just not going to happen. But you're going to make at least 10 words per minute. So you'll easily make that. Most of you, if you're practicing the exam, will be able to write more than 80 words a minute. And that means you'll have more quotations, make more points, and therefore get a higher grade. And finally, if you do nothing else, remember that if you can make more points in fewer words, you will get a higher grade on every single question in the reading part of paper 1 and in every single question on the reading part of paper 2. The more points you can make, the more points you get, the higher your grade. So hopefully you can see how it's impossible to get a grade 9 using P paragraphs because you just won't be able to fit those points in. Well, I hope you found that really helpful and not too disappointing to unlearn stuff you've been taught before. I hope you can see why I'm suggesting you should do it, and really good luck in your English language exam. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more help.